Paul Smith, Paul Smith.
He's got the momentum going, looks solid. That grip's absolutely rock solid here, and he is going to get it over the line and make it look easy. And he turns back as if to say to the other guys, what are you making all the fuss about? This is easy.
Road to England's 2025, joining me now, the former 3 times UK strongest man and 4 times England's strongest man, the one, the only Paul Smith. Welcome, Paul.
How's it going, Martin? Good to chat.
Yeah, good to chat, mate. Good to chat. Let's start off with the UK strongest man. Let's go back a few months. You were going for your 4th UK strongest man title. What went wrong?
So yeah, I mean, I went into UK's. Well, how shall I say? I wasn't going in feeling. Basically, I was ill at the start of the year, lost a lot of weight, was building back up, and feeling better and better and better. Going in thinking I was pretty much back to my best and feeling good, but I was, while I'm going in, I'm not sure exactly how I'd feel. Got the first weekend done. Felt really good. Felt really, really good. I thought, yeah, we're flying here. So then got down to the semis the following weekend again, felt great, got through comfortably when we had the squat that night. And I won that. And, again, everything was absolutely flying. I felt really confident again going into day 2. I had a slip on the tyre that cost me a little bit. I think that put me into 3rd on the tyre. And then after that, I just didn't quite get going. Had a bit of I'm not sure exactly what I did, something to my finger on the tyre, slipping, and then didn't like the deadlift went really badly. The log didn't go well. The kegs weren't too bad, but it wasn't the strongest event for me to finish on. So yeah, it was a funny one because, like I said, I had great quarterfinals, great semis. Even the start of the final, I felt good.
Yeah.
But then it just didn't come together very well in the final. Really frustrating one. Because like I say, if I'd have gone there and just felt like I didn't feel strong, then that would be fair enough. But just feels like I couldn't put it together at the very end, even after going well, for the first however many 7-8 events we had. So yeah, it was really, really frustrating. Just felt like I should have done better on all the events on the final day. Especially after the squat. I mean, it was like 12 hours beforehand, feeling amazing winning the event. So yeah, it just didn't quite click for me, unfortunately.
I thought at that moment when you won the squat, you actually come across to me and picked me up and twirled me round on your shoulders. And I would, if I was a betting man, I would have put the money on you. At that point, you were looking sharp. You were enjoying your strong man. For me, it was Paul Smith back to his best. You did say something, and I overheard you say it to someone during competition, and you were struggling to flick the switch, I think is how you put it. You just couldn't get that little bit extra.
Yeah, it felt like that very much on the final day, which is weird for me, being so experienced. Like, I tried to take it fairly steady on the semis and did, and still got through it. It went perfectly to plan. I didn't really have to do anything on. It was a bar bend, wasn't it? I didn't really have to do anything on it. It was great. Switched on for the squat, felt amazing. Really, brought it out when I needed to, as I normally do it days now. Very dialed in with it. But yeah, that last day, like I woke up, slept well, everything. What I mean, it was all good. Felt good warming up for the tyre, even slipping on the tyre actually after I slipped on the first let, and then I had a really good run after that, and I nailed every one. Felt strong stuff. Thought, it's just a bit of a mess up. We're good to go. But it just didn't seem to quite be there like it normally is. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure. It's a weird one for me to not feel like I could switch it on and really nail everything after that. Yeah, it was a strange one.
There's been a few life changes for you. You're a dad. You and Shannon have become parents, which is absolutely fantastic. Do you think that could play parts in it, where your life's changed a little bit and maybe you can't focus as much on yourself?
No, I don't think so, because I certainly thought that last year, because Nancy had just been born,
Yeah.
before last year's UK, so I very much was stressing about that. But every training went well. It was it was much tougher, but really good performance, got the title, and I certainly had a bit last year, a little bit after that when Nancy was getting a bit older and her routine was changing a little bit and training. It never, it was never too far off, but I just, the sessions weren't as consistent for a while. They weren't as consistently good for a few months, towards like the summer going into autumn around England, to be fair.
Yeah.
Just wasn't quite clicking. But that I managed to sort that out. We got on a much better routine, and now everything's really dialed in. So it's certainly it wasn't that. Everything's was going really well routine wise. There was no disruptions. Like I say, it was a bit of a strange one. Because everything, I feel very much in athlete mode. We're used to being parents now.
Yeah.
That's all, it's all in our stride. So yeah, it was a really weird one.
So let's now look forward. England's strongest man. It's a title you know well. You've had it a few times, as I said. You know, how will you be looking at England's to make amends for sort of UK's almost?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, like you losing a UK start was a big one. It really hit me. It really, really, really was frustrating. Um, Thankfully, since then, training's been very good. I've been just getting stronger, 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 stronger. I won the Northwest Invitational in Oldham was it 2 days? This past weekend. And I've been feeling really strong. I feel really on good form. And now I just need to carry that into England's. But yeah, I really want to get that fifth title, make up for UK's and really set my stall out now. Obviously, it's this year, but going into kind of the next season, and really kind of build some momentum now.
Who would you look at to be your main rivals in England? Obviously, I mean we can Andrew Flynn.
Yeah, of course, Flynn's a big one, and I would assume, no disrespect to anyone else, of course, there's some strong lads coming through, but I assume it'll be a bit of a dogfight between me and Flynn. Dean Mason did great at
Yeah.
UK's. He's certainly one to watch out for. Alex Ferry, a young lad coming through, he's very statically strong and showed that he's progressing in other areas too. So I think guys like that will be the ones to get in between us on certain events. Obviously for me and Flynn, it's trying to be the guys that beats those guys that can
Yeah.
get them in between the other one out of us. So I think Dean and Alex are two big ones to watch. Um, but Flynn's the main guy for me. We're back and forth very much, but he's got me a couple of times now, and I really don't like it. I really want to
Yeah.
get that title back.
You mentioned the young guns coming through, if you like, your Dean Masons, your Alex Ferries coming through. Do you feel like there could be a changing of the guard? I mean, you've been in strongman now. Blimey, you've been in it. How long have you been doing this now? I mean, it's got to be 12 years.
Yeah, 2011 was my first comp, so I'm coming up
Yeah.
to 15 years now.
What,
Yeah, a long, long
15?
time.
Oh, you're making me feel old, Paul.
Yeah, it made me feel old.
But this is it. Do you feel like there's a bit of a changing of the guard?
Yeah, I mean, as you've seen, obviously you've been around a while yourself, Martin. We're not all 20, we're not 20 anymore.
No, we're not.
Um, you kind of have your eras, don't you? I mean, you sent me a photo recently of a comp with Eddie, milling about back when he was competing full time, and it was like just looking at the names, it was just a photo of us in the tunnel at England, I think 10 years ago,
Yeah.
and it's just mad. Like most of the guys, you just don't, they're just not on the scene anymore. So I've certainly had that a few times over now, but there's a lot of new guys coming through. Um, it's a it's a cool time to be a strongman. But yeah, I notice it because I'll talk about someone that I think everyone will know, and they haven't heard of them, and then you realize, oh, they hadn't started strongman back when they were competing, and it kind of hits me, every so often stuff like that. So yeah, you've got a lot of guys that are coming through now that, I mean, God, even like when I won my second title, they probably weren't that in the sport. So it's weird to think about that, and it really is. There's a lot of new blood in, but it's great. It's great that there's that much kind of depth of competitors coming through. You want that to happen. You don't
Yeah.
want to have the same few guys there all the time because then it can get a little bit stale. I just hope we can hold them off for a few more years. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to give up just yet. I mean, every strongman has an expiry time. It's normally around 10 years. You've been doing it for 15. I mean, you started very, very young, hence your nickname, the baby-faced assassin. I'm not sure that sticks anymore, but but we'll stick with it. We'll just keep going with it. But I mean, let's look forward now into England's. What's the game plan?
So I mean the big thing is obviously it's cliche and it's the way to do strongman, but it's just not having those errors where you drop because it's a big field England's now. It's a bigger field, which means if you do have one where the wheels fall off, you can be dropping a lot of points. So I mean, usually the guys winning comps, you want to be top three in each event. And if you can stay there, usually there's probably only be one or two guys that can manage that across the board. So that's a plan for me. A big one for me, I think, and probably for a lot of people, probably Flynn included, is a bar bend and getting that right.
Yeah.
Because that's one way you can really shake up the points and how that goes is not necessarily how it'll go overall. So you could get a lot of guys that end up being quite good at that. So that's the big one to really try and stay up near the top end. The other ones, I think both me and Flynn will be at the top four, most likely. But I think the bar bend's a real key one where, we need to be up near those top placings to make sure we're not dropping the points.
Do you practice it?
Yeah, I've had quite a bit of practice. Got plenty more practice to come. It's just a tricky one because, even guys, you see them, oh, I've done this set, and apparently it's the same, like bars, the same steel, and then you'll get to come like, oh, that was a lot harder. And it's a tricky one to know exactly where you're at. It's not like, oh, he's doing that deadlift or he's doing that log press. It's hard to know even when you're doing it, to know exactly where you're at. And it's one I find you feel a lot stronger on the day, which is good. But then again, you've got that gap between what you're doing in training and what you're doing on the day. So again, it's hard to be too confident in anything that you're doing because you're not sure how that is going to carry over compared to some more kind of traditional events.
Coming into the competition, a competition like England's, do you feel like you've got a bit of a target on your back? As you say, you've been in it 15 years. You're one of the most well-known people in the sport. Do you feel like you've got a bit of a target on your back?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Although it's definitely different not being the champion coming in. That takes. To be fair, I prefer having the pressure. I prefer having all the pressure in the world on me. I don't like it
Yeah,
when
yeah.
people don't think I'm going to win. I tend to do better when everyone thinks I'm going to win. But yeah, there's certainly that. Like I'm one of the names that people want to knock off, and they want to come up. And I had it myself coming up. You have these guys that you want to beat him and beat him and beat him.
Who were they
Um,
then? Name them.
Also, for me, when I came through, it was guys like, oh God, Charlet, Hollands, Eddie Hall. Don't think, don't know if I ever managed to get any of those guys because they were just they were right at the end as I was at the start of the kind of
Yeah.
pro ranks. And then it's guys like Bish and Hicks that you wanted to be. Um, who else did I have? Obviously, coming through with Tom Stoltman was a big one for the junior ranks. And then guys that had won. Well, Eddie dominated UK's, of course, and then we had guys that were doing really well, like Aaron Page at the time, Paro Dwyer, of course, Gav, who won it before me. And those are the guys that you
That
try
was a good
and.
tussle. You and Bilton back then.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, we had a couple of good battles. Yeah, we really did. We had a couple of really good ones at UK's and another comp still, of course. But that's it. Like you kind of go through, and I'm sure for a lot of guys, I'm one of those guys on the list now. The younger guys that want to come through and beat me and kind of tick that off. So it's very much different being that guy at comps like this when you feel like you're kind of defending your place rather than being one of the young lads coming up when you're trying to work your way up. So yeah, certainly feels a bit different, but I like it. I like that pressure. The thing is when you're the young one coming up, no one expects it, so it's all pressure free. But I find that pressure can really, focus the mind and really switch you on. So I prefer that way. I never like being like the underdog and with no expectations on because it just doesn't get me going the same way.
England's strongest man, the Doncaster Dome. You walk out into that arena. Who's supporting you in the crowd?
Oh, good question. Well, Shannon will be there, Nancy will be there, definitely. I don't know exactly who else. I'll tell you what, stuff like this you get much less organised with when you're long
As
in
the
the
time
tooth.
goes on, yeah, I know.
Your first arena show, you're like, oh, I want you get tickets for this, everyone, and then when you think, and then when you get a bit older, you just that's like a week of the comp. Can I have a ticket for such and such?
I always say I'll get a postcode and I just turn up. Absolutely
No,
brilliant.
that's certainly a thing as you get older. Yeah, there's a more long in the tooth. So I'll have to figure that stuff out.
Nearer the
That's a good
time. But you'll
that's a
have a
good
lot of
question.
support as always, Paul. You're absolutely brilliant, mate. Good luck at England's 2025. It's all to play for. I think it's Andrew Flynn that you're going for, that's for sure.
Yeah. Should be a good battle, me and Flynn again, I think so. Enjoy your last few weeks for the title, Flynn. I'm coming for this one, I'm taking it back. And then a few months later, I'm taking UK's back. So enjoy your time. Hold it tight at night.
Well, he's having a look up at the board there, and yes, I think that's it now. He can't be caught. Even if he comes last in the final event, he's done enough. He's won the UK Strongest Man title in 4 disciplines. Well, that makes up for last year, doesn't it? And he was so disappointed with second.